Welcome to Nerds, Geeks, in the Kitchen Sink. It's the podcast that's like hanging out at the video store. I'm one of your hosts, DK.
See, I let you get through the whole thing.
I'm
I was
pointing at you.
nice.
Yeah.
I'm Chris, your other host.
Improve if you feel like it.
Okay. Now
Welcome.
begin the shenanigans. What?
Begin them.
Yeah.
I feel a little loopy today,
Okay.
but I think we're going to have a good time.
That's what you get for swimming and drinking all day.
That's right. Yes, I was drinking all day. So big news in this house. We got a robot vacuum.
Uh-huh.
So if you hear something along the lines of a robot vacuum, it's probably my robot vacuum.
Yeah.
We've named him Vacula.
Vacula.
He's all black and he has little googly eyes on him.
I told you one of these nights it's going to have a knife coming into the bedroom.
Or two fangs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could happen. So he's a busy little guy running around, sucking things up. Pretty cool. Pretty neat to have that.
Next, a little cape needs to be put on it.
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of bloodsuckers, have you seen that they've finished the production part of the Nosferatu?
Yes, that's exciting. You know, it's a Robert Eggers movie, so
yeah,
you kind of know what to expect, but at the same time, it's like that is exactly what I want from a Nosferatu movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I did. Yeah,
I wanted to preserve that vibe and pace and everything of the original. And who better in the modern world?
Well, I mean, yeah. Look at now. I did see a report that like a production assistant said that it is filmed in color, but it's like the old Pantone,
like almost like
almost like the turn of the century, beginning color kind of.
Yeah, where it's like one color per
well,
scene. That's how the original Nosferatu is.
Yeah, but this is more of the like first colored. It's going to be that really toned down.
Well, I don't care. I just want to see it.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
that's great. I think he's the good choice for that film and that project. So,
yeah.
You know, I haven't seen Renfield yet, but I was disappointed by everything that I did see for it.
Yeah.
I had specific hopes and dreams for Renfield, and that I don't think is going to happen. I will watch it and report back, but I think he is the right guy to do.
Now the movie about Dracula crossing over on the ship may seem a little bit better now than.
Yeah, I don't know. I was
the Dialist or
the Demeter.
Demeter, that was it.
How could you forget the Demeter?
I know.
He's headed to Carfax Abbey. Come on. Anyway, you don't like think about Dracula every day and like just run down a list of Dracula things?
No, can't say that.
The hell, man. Fine, man. I have been playing a lot of video games.
Okay.
It's what I've been doing.
I know Jedi Survivor is.
Yes.
It's a big
I want to briefly hit on that.
Go for it.
I really like it. It's as good as the original. The storyline is maybe more interesting.
Okay.
But it weirdly doesn't really pick up until sort of the end. And now when I say the end, I mean like the end isn't like, oh, the last 20 minutes. The end for me has been several hours. So
gotcha.
Just so people are clear.
Kind of like the final act.
Yeah, sort of like that. Like I would say it's the last third of the game. I mean, not that the rest is boring by any means, but a lot of it is just you
build up.
It's gameplay. It's pure gameplay. So that is not something to complain about. This isn't a game that's like full of cutscenes. But when there needs to be a cutscene, they're great.
Right.
There's been some amazing twists and turns. I did call the main one.
Okay.
I won't say what it is, but
all right.
I felt that one out very early on.
Mm.
And I'm stuck on a boss fight. So here's what I'm here to tell you. There are 2 boss fights in this game.
Okay.
That there are more than 2, but these specific 2 have destroyed me. There was one that I did for like 2 hours.
Really?
Fighting the same boss for 2 hours before I finally I had to leave and come back. Like I had to put it down. I
Get
was really
so
mad.
frustrated that
Yes, and I kept getting so
before you threw
close.
the controller. Yeah,
When I finally finished it, I was like, I was probably one hit away previously, and I didn't know
right.
how frustrating. But you know, looking back, like it feels great that I was able to finish it. And I'm on one of the higher difficulties.
Right.
And the game keeps going. You know, you can turn it down. Oh, I made it this far.
You know, you suck so bad, you can make it a little easier for
Yeah,
yourself.
I know. That's what they're telling me.
You gotta love that.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm going to beat this, and I'm very happy with it so far. There's some cool stuff, lots of stuff there for Star Wars fans. Some interesting links to like the High Republic era,
Okay.
which for me has not been like really that interesting. But there's been some cool things that are like, oh, that okay, well, I like that.
Yeah.
So there's been a couple things there that I've kind of connected with, unlike other things in the High Republic. So that's cool. Without going into spoilers, you do get to go to some. You get to go to one planet that you'll know from the films, from the more recent ones, and it's a planet that you may want to go to. And it's not really a spoiler, but I won't say what it is. But it's cool. The force powers are good. The combat's good. I got no complaints.
Okay.
Interestingly, my favorite of the lightsaber stances, because you can choose. There's multiple stances.
Okay.
There's like dual blade. There's like actual two single sabers, but there's the cross guard.
Okay.
Where you add a cross guard to your blade, and it's really fun to play. It's like the heavy stance, right?
Yeah.
Your blows do a lot more damage, but they are much slower.
Right. So you have to time it a little more.
It's all about the timing with that stance. I mean, really all of them, but yeah, particularly that stance. It's really It's cool. Anyway, that's my little bit about Jedi Survivor. I recommend it if you like the first one, or if you're a big fan of the Star Wars in general.
Yep.
You get to do some pretty cool Star Warsy things.
So when do you think we'll actually see Cal Kestis in like real life?
Well, I'd love to. I think he deserves it at this point.
Yeah.
Some of the things he and I have been through together, he deserves it. And I really think so. I think his whole little crew, I think the people at Respawn have done a better job than maybe even some of the shows. So we'll see. Speaking of that, have you seen all this about that Obi-Wan fan edit?
Yes.
It's interesting, right?
It is interesting.
I don't normally get super excited about fan edits. Like I'm usually more like, oh, that's fun. Like I'll take a look at it, but whatever. But like this really does seem to have the makings of something special. It does.
There's been a few fan edits, and I know there was one of the sequel movies that literally cut all three movies down to about an hour and 45 minutes. And actually, I've watched the whole thing online, and it actually is a lot better than.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'd be interested to check it out. That's cool. Yeah, like I said, normally I'm iffy on these things, but this Obi-Wan, it's like, what is this? It's Joker 95 or something is the name of the guy.
Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
He's actually filming new content and adding new visual effects because he worked on Rogue One apparently.
Yeah.
Or Rogue One, was it Rogue One? One of those, maybe one of the other shows, or Andor. He worked on Andor.
Oh, okay.
Basically Rogue One.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, it looks interesting, and I look forward to that coming out. So that's something to look forward to. I'm sure we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
When it happens. So sorry, things were popping up on my computer.
No, it's okay.
I had to get rid of that. I have two more game related things to talk about.
Go for it.
Do you want to stick anything in there first before I jump in?
No, really. I've just been playing back and forth the Midnight Suns. So
I'm gonna go back to that as soon as I finish Jedi Survivor.
I've almost got Storm maxed out and show me my last one to max.
That's cool. You know, it's sad that apparently that game didn't do well, because I would so love a sequel where they could iterate and do more.
From everything that I've heard, not necessarily like a sequel to it, but that they're going to expand on this one. That there's a potential for 4 more new characters to come in and change the story and get a new story from what we're going through right now.
That's cool.
So
yeah, I really like that game, and I wish they were allowed to do more interesting things. Because I mean, like, how many games are like even fall into this category?
Yeah.
Not many,
No,
and
not
not many
many.
with a big IP like something like Marvel.
Marvel, yeah.
So it's really cool to see Marvel taking a chance like this, and it's very sad that it just feels like if this is it, you know.
Well,
So
I think it was a victim of like other things coming out at the same time.
I think also
Because I
people
think
just didn't
Survivor,
understand.
yeah. And then not everybody is into the whole card turn,
It is kind of niche, isn't it?
strategy
Uh-huh.
based. And it's kind of a newer concept other than, per se tabletop game.
You think it's a newer concept? I don't know. XCOM's been around for a long time.
No, I meant in video game wise.
I
The
don't
card,
know.
the card build up of characters and
I guess just a take on tactics. I guess I don't know.
it is.
Maybe it is certainly unique, which is what I'm celebrating here.
Yeah.
So you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, no, I don't know. I want more though, and I'm
Yeah.
going to. As soon as I'm done with Jedi Survivor, I'm going to go back and finish those last few missions, and then start in on the DLC.
Yeah.
But
You will like the DLCs because of the fact that who it deals with.
right, exactly.
The
I love
main
those
character.
characters. Yeah.
No, the bad guy.
Oh, okay.
And I
Excellent.
won't spoil it for you.
Okay. Very cool.
So,
Very cool. I have been playing something else though that I told myself I have Jedi Survivor, I have Marvel, I don't need anything else. What am I doing? Don't buy this. You don't need anything else.
what'd you buy?
But then you look and it's like $20 and it looks great, and then you click purchase on Warhammer 40K Bolt Gun. And look, I'm not a huge Warhammer fan. Not that I dislike it,
Right.
but there's a lot of lore and things, and it's like
Right.
most of the time those games are just not for me.
Yeah.
Although I do like Vermintide. That game is cool. It's like Left 4
Yeah.
Dead, but in their universe,
Right.
But the tabletop stuff, I just don't have time. I think it's interesting, but I just don't have I can't get into that stuff. It's so expensive and I don't have time. So, Warhammer for me is kind of like an iffy thing. But as soon as I saw this game, I'm like, this has to be, I have to have this.
Yeah.
Have you seen the trailer for it?
Yes, I have.
It's Doom, but in the world of
Warhammer.
right?
Yeah.
And it's like, it looks like OG Doom, but it plays more like Doom Eternal. It like kind of steals some things from that. So like the mechanics of it are amazingly good, really fun.
Right.
At its core, it's just a first-person shooter, right? But it's very stylized.
Yeah.
And the combat is really fun. I mean, it's what you expect it to be, but it all really works, and it's fun. I've had a great time so far. I've blasted through a couple levels. That's the other thing. It's set up like the old Doom games. So it's like there's you have like the sets of missions, they're episodes or whatever.
Yeah.
So like you have the first episode where it's X amount of missions and you can just do them one at a time. There's not really, I mean, there is a story actually, but it's not something you need to be super worried about. Although the thing that I think pushes Bolt Gun from being just a fun, they call these boomer shooters, right?
Okay.
From being just a fun boomer shooter to being better than that, to being something a little bit more special, is that the lore that they do sneak in there is interesting, even for someone who doesn't really know that much about Warhammer.
Right.
There's all kinds of little things, and it has this like, and this is like a Warhammer thing, but because I don't do a lot of Warhammer, it's still kind of new to me. But like, it has this whole like, almost like psychological thing to it, where I don't want to call it that either. Well, what is it? It's like all the lore, and it all funnels through this like you're serving the emperor thing.
Yeah.
And it almost feels like Catholicism or something, but like got to the extreme, right? It feels it's like you're going on the Crusades. Yes, but they take it so seriously.
Well, I mean, that's why, and depending on what faction you're supposed to be, I mean, that's kind of the way Warhammer is.
And you're a space marine.
Yeah.
And so you're serving the emperor, and everything is for the emperor. And may the emperor bless us.
There's different things with certain factions, the necromancers and the custodies, and those kind of things. They each have their own kind of ideology. So it, depending, I've seen the trailer, but I haven't played it, so I don't know some of the story of it. So That's what I'm just figuring, that it's considered one of the, one of the more fanatic factions
Oh, absolutely,
that,
right. But it's fun to play. It's fun. It's like a fun like power fantasy because like
yeah,
you're this massive guy in this massive suit of armor. Like
right.
when you sprint, the
Hmm.
slamming footsteps just make you feel so powerful. Like there's a button you can press where it's not even like you don't even use a weapon. You just
Right.
rush through someone and they
Oh,
explode.
nice.
And if there's multiple enemies in line, they just
Just like boom, 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 boom,
and it's
yeah.
like slightly slow motion. Oh, it feels so good. And you get to use like this. It's like a sword that's a chainsaw.
Yes.
It's so cool. Highly recommend if you like first person shooters
Right.
or if you like Warhammer. It seems to be made for people who probably are more Warhammer fans than shooter fans, if that
Right.
makes sense. Because like when you first turn it on, like the aiming speed is set, like the default is so low, it's so slow.
Right.
I had to literally crank it all the way up, like as fast as the game could go. Well, I
Right.
do play a lot of competitive shooters, so that may be
That, yeah,
part of
that
it.
may be part of it.
And I grew up with Quake and Doom and Wolfenstein and all those things.
Right.
So for me, it's like, oh, I had to crank this up. But I think maybe they're welcoming people who are more Warhammer fans and less shooter fans, is what I'm trying to say. But if you're a shooter fan like me, let me tell you, it's a great $20.
Yeah.
That's all really.
And
It's
really, to
really
get a
fun.
first person shooter that's good for $20, that's
For real.
unheard of most of the time.
Yes. Yes. And it's got such incredible retro graphics. These sort of there are cutscenes and they're like they look like early PC cutscenes.
Gotcha.
They're not 8-bit, they're more than that, but they look like that kind of pixel art. They look
Yeah.
so good. It's really fun. There's this little skull that floats around and he's like your guide on the planet and he's your helper.
Okay.
But he's a skull that's got like also a torch bracket shoved through him. And also it can float around, like I said. I don't know if it's magic or what.
Right.
But they tell you this is why the game is so cool. They tell you lots of lore, like even about that thing.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's like, oh, the skull that's in this thing is like one of your enemies, like ancient enemies that we defeated. And we continue to like mock them or whatever by them serving it. They continue to serve us even in death.
So it's kind of like, what was it? The head that Hellboy carries around.
Yes, so awesome. Exactly. Yes, exactly like that. So that's the little things like that, and they have all this ready-made lore that they can just tap into. That like if you don't know, it's really fun. So big recommendation for sure on that one. So for $20, if you're looking for a shooter, if you've been stuck playing Resident Evil or Jedi Survivor or whatever recently, you want something a little different.
Right.
You don't have to think about it too much. It's mainly like clear the level, kill everyone in the level, find the key, get through the door, and you're on to the next.
Gotcha.
It's not asking much of you, and it's a lot of fun.
Cool. Okay, what was the other one?
My last thing?
Yep.
Okay. We definitely need to talk about this.
Okay.
Recently, Sony had a digital event, and there were some big announcements made. And one clearly stands out above the rest. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see early access to this reveal.
Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear. Yes, Metal Gear Solid, the Snake Eater remake. Did you play the original Snake Eater?
Yes.
You did? Okay.
Yes.
Would you believe that it's been just about 20 years since that game released? That came out in 2004.
Yeah, the year I got married.
It doesn't seem like 2004. Jeez.
Yeah, it came out the year I got married.
That's incredible. Wow. So that game for me is obviously very special. I'm a huge Metal Gear Solid fan.
Yep.
The first is my favorite, Metal Gear Solid for PlayStation 1. But Metal Gear Solid 3 was such, and for me it was a surprise. Like in 2004, I don't know what happened, but I somehow I had heard they were making it. And this was back in the day when if you weren't paying attention, like if someone didn't tell you or if you didn't like read it in a magazine,
right,
it could just come out you know? And my friend is like, hey, I got Metal Gear Solid 3. Do you want to play it? I said, it's out. What? Like,
Yeah.
that was like one of my last like gaming surprises. Like, are you serious? This exists? We can go to the store and buy Metal Gear Solid 3? Because I was so jazzed about Metal Gear Solid 2. And I liked Metal Gear Solid 2 quite a bit, but
Right.
I don't know if I was equipped yet to understand the story. I still don't know if I'm equipped to understand that story.
Yeah.
But I liked it, but I was one of those people that was, and this was, it's been about 20 years, it's more than 20 years on Metal Gear Solid 2.
I was going to say.
But I was one of those people that was like, you only get to play Snake for an hour. I was so mad, like, right?
Yeah.
But the gameplay is the same, and I've grown to love Raiden.
Right.
And that game is great. It's one of those where it's like almost like some of the weirder James Bond movies. Like I put on the weirder ones because I'm like, I feel like I don't watch this one very often. It's weird,
Right.
it's not my favorite. Why? And I keep putting it on, and now I love Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yeah.
So anyway, they've announced a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake.
Okay.
It's not a remaster. They're going to re-release Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3
Right.
for modern gen consoles, which for me is just as exciting as the remake.
Yeah.
For sure. Because number one, you have a remake and Kojima is not involved.
Right.
That's a big, negative.
Right.
But we'll always have the original. And if we can get it onto this modern hardware, and particularly I'd like for them to release it on PC, but I think they will. But boy, having it on modern gen hardware, do you realize that you couldn't play those games even on PS4?
Yeah.
The last console you could play those on was like 360 and PS3.
Yeah. 3 was the last one. Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, because 4 was never backwards compatible.
Well, yeah, 4,
for those early games.
Right. Well, and 3, Metal Gear Solid 4 on the PS3 also is trapped on the PS3, and you can't play it any other way.
Right.
They have it on the streaming service or whatever, the PlayStation Now or whatever it's called.
Right.
I've tried to play it, and it's just not the same. I need it to be here, local, HD. I need that. So, I have high hopes for this Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. I will be talking about it a ton when it comes out, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
I do hope that there are some changes, but I don't want it to be massive changes. But I would like them to update some things about it. The combat could be better. The stealth system could be better, probably. I mean, it's still an amazing game.
For its generation,
it's incredible.
It was incredible. Now, but now, in comparison, now it could probably use some
exactly
updates.
And I'm looking at the Resident Evil 4 remake, saying maybe we'd do something like they did. I hope we do, because the spirit of the game is alive and well in the remake of Resident Evil 4, and for the most part, it sort of improves, I think, in pretty much every way, though I haven't played the whole thing. But what I have played,
the
has been a big
movement definitely improved.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. All kinds of stuff like that. So I would hope that they can take Metal Gear, maybe look at some things Phantom Pain did, and kind of borrow some of that.
Kind of adjust accordingly.
Yeah, just make it more modern.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. I have heard that they just recently announced it's all the original voice acting.
Oh, so that's cool.
It's not even, they didn't re-record anything. It's all the original.
Them redoing it, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's good and bad. Part of me wishes almost that there was an option where you could have a new one or an older one.
Yeah.
Because the OG voice acting is great, but it goes with the original.
Right.
I don't know if it's going to be jarring to have that old dialogue.
Yeah.
And whatever, those old performances coming through new, much more HD, and, higher resolution graphics. I don't know. Maybe it'll be fine. But it does seem like we could have gotten, David Hayter is still acting. We could have gotten David Hayter back. We could have gotten most of those actors back.
Yeah.
Are they just being cheap?
True.
Makes me wonder.
And are they going to remaster those, digitally remaster the acting performances?
Do they have that audio?
Or is it going to sound like 18-bit audio?
I would assume it's going to sound better, but you never know. And Konami's been screwing around a lot lately and making some weird decisions. So
never know.
We will find out. But I have a lot of excitement for that game. It was a very nice time of my life that I got to play that game. And then I got you know, it was on the HD remaster, and I played it through a
Right.
bunch more times, and I played it on the Vita quite a bit. The
Yeah.
Vita had the collection there, and
Yeah.
I loved playing it through, you know, on there. So I'm ready. I'm ready. It's been enough years that I haven't played it in. I probably haven't played it since the Vita. What probably the last time would have been around 2014 or 15
I was saying
when I actually played
almost
it.
10 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, so just about 10 years since I actually experienced it. So I'm really excited. I'll be definitely having that day one.
Okay. Side note, but sort of related to Metal Gear Solid. They had tested, and this was funny as hell. They had tested like this new AI like surveillance stuff and had these Marines that they were supposed to go not get detected by this and then touch like the AI got to it. And of course, a bunch of crayon eaters taken doing like cartwheels and stuff like that to get to the AI, and it completely had no clue. And one of them actually got into a box and slid it across and was completely undetected by. So,
as we know from Metal
for
Gear,
everyone that's worried right now with some of the AI stuff, it's not quite there yet. When you can pull a Solid Snake on,
hey, let that AI play the game. He's gonna love it.
several $1 million equipment, then
Although, if have you played Metal Gear Solid 4? Because AI is a huge part of
yeah.
that story. That's interesting. Wow, that's very fun.
Yeah.
And I just want to shout out my friend Mike for 3D printing me these things. These are
Yes. Those were
homemade,
awesome.
if you can believe it.
Yeah.
And look at this. He stands on. I don't know
A
if you can see
shield.
it. It's the
Solid Snake
the Foxhound logo.
or Foxhound. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't really see it, but in person it looks great. I promise.
Right.
Look at that. It's beautiful. Metal Gear. Anyway, huge fan of Metal Gear. Looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Well, would you like to?
Well, there's a couple movies that came out this weekend. We really haven't, unfortunately, it's been crazy for both of us to go see. So,
Well,
Spider-Man.
oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
I did take the family to see Little Mermaid.
Uh-huh.
I got food poisoning 20 minutes into the movie.
Bad fish sticks.
I don't know what it was, and I don't want to relive it. I did not see much of the film. So anyway,
Got some bad fish.
I tell you what, I really like that Javier Bardem. He's great.
Well, I mean, he's a good actor in anything. I mean, just look at, what was it? No Country for Old Men.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Well, he's in Skyfall.
It's in Skyfall, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. But I didn't get to see a whole lot of it. What I saw seemed fine.
It hasn't done well, at all. Even worldwide, it hasn't done well. Now, a movie that's actually has done well this week, and especially this weekend, and didn't have the benefit of a holiday weekend, is the Spider-Man.
I'm hearing nothing but love.
Yeah.
And I still have not seen the first one.
Really?
I have not seen it. I turned it on at work one time, and I was like, I don't feel like it. I don't feel like this. I don't want to watch this. For whatever reason. I was like, I'm not in the mood. And so I never went back to it.
Yeah.
Is it on like Disney Plus?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, I'll watch it this week.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's great.
I liked the first one a lot. I'm not a huge fan of the animation.
I know some people are.
I know some people are
on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the animation because even actually the last Spider-Man game, you could had a mode to switch into that, and I was like, yeah,
I think it's
switch it back.
I think it's unique. It's its own thing. The movie definitely has its own voice. That's cool,
right?
But
it's just it's not my taste of animation.
Yeah, exactly right.
But apparently in this one, in which I will see the new one soon. Each quote unquote Spider-Man has their own animation style when they're in their world.
Oh, cool.
So there's a lot of world jumping in this one.
That's really cool. I'm sure it's so
the
much
animation kind of changes everyone changes in that
Yeah.
animation. And this is the first part of two-parter.
Okay.
So it does leave with a cliffhanger.
Well, he's Spider-Man. He's always hanging on cliffs,
Well,
buildings, whatever you got,
yeah,
bridges.
yeah.
Not a surprise.
Well, this one is a surprise.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's been tearing it up all over.
Great.
It's already.
So
I
when's the
think
next Spider-Man movie coming out?
the Spider-Verse one comes out in March, so it's not going to be a huge.
Cool. Very cool.
But I know right now because of the whole writer's strike,
I did see this. Yeah.
Spider-Man is delayed.
Yeah. Delayed. Dang it. But
Yeah.
okay. Fine.
So
It'll happen when it happens. I don't want Tom Holland to get too old.
no,
Although I actually, the idea of the more, I don't want to say middle-aged, but a little older, not teenage
no.
Spider-Man.
The mid-20s,
even 30s. Yeah.
30,
Yeah. I want to see that. That's when some of the most juicy stuff happens.
I wouldn't mind seeing, the whole marriage and Mayday Parker coming about. That would be interesting.
You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah. So, but we got this year. I think the Marvels is going to be kind of the last of this as it stands right now. Because everything is so up in the air with what's going on with anything Kang related.
Mm-hmm.
We
still haven't heard.
No, and they haven't even decided how they're gonna continue moving forward. Whether it's gonna be, Loki kind of finalizes that story,
which would be fine,
or if they are gonna go through with the whole Kang War.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, me personally, I think I'm not a huge fan of Kang. Never was.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think he was a.
He's not a
universe-shattering villain. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's literally what he is.
Well, but even really in the comic books, he's always been shall we say, a second tier.
I agree with you.
Most of the Fantastic Four.
I agree with you. Sure.
He's kind of been a second tier villain.
But this is what has had me hoping for Fantastic Four stuff. And then when they announced all the Kang stuff, I'm like, oh, it'll go right into Fantastic Four.
Well, and I think that's initially what I think they are going to move forward more with Secret War stuff, which would be the MCU avenue that you could bring in the X-Men and the Fantastic Four.
Have you heard the rumor of the director? This is just a rumor.
Okay.
But I heard they've approached Sam Raimi to do that one.
Really?
That would be awesome.
Are they going to give him just free reign?
I would love it if they did.
Because
this is a rumor.
I don't know. I know it's a rumor,
but I can see that being a lot of fun.
If he could have free reign on it, and you don't have the quote unquote story group messing with it,
well, that'll never not happen.
I can see it being an actual good. Well, we got to get rid of a couple people for that not to happen. And if Marvel and Disney keep doing what they're doing, they may have to. But no, I mean, and that led to, there's we were talking about Fantastic Four. That led us into rumors of that the casting of the first family of Marvel has kind of already, not officially, but kind of been approached and set.
Yeah, let's go over that. We talked about it. I think it did get mentioned last time, but we didn't really talk about it too much.
Well, the only person I think we talked about was with
Kylo Ren
with Reed. Yeah.
Kylo
Reed. So yeah, I'm just looking here, that picture that I shared on our Discord, which you need to get on if you haven't. I think I shared it on Discord, didn't I?
I don't know if you did. Let me look. I have that open.
Okay.
I'm scrolling up. I'm still scrolling up.
You guys got into a big game conversation and
we sure did.
So I may have just forgotten after reading all 75.
No, I don't see it.
Okay.
It's not in there.
Well, then that's a teaser of what I will share on the Discord on the episode.
Chris is a big liar. huge.
No, I just forget. But Margot Robbie as Sue Storm, I'm not a big fan of that one.
Uh-huh.
And then the actor that they have for doing Ben, he was in Hamilton, and I think he was the Thomas Jefferson in Hamilton, and
Never
he's done
seen
some other
Hamilton.
voice, yeah. And then if you want to look up, I can't remember,
I'll look up.
yeah. So I know we're kind of going through, and then there's another
What was
actor
his name?
that, oh
Or
God,
did
I
you have
don't
his name?
remember.
You didn't have his name.
I don't have it on the top of my.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's see here. David Diggs
Yeah, that
as
would,
Ben
I think
Grimm
that's, yeah,
and Paul Mescal
Mescal, that's it.
as Johnny Storm. Let me see if there's here we go. Forbes. Forbes has an article. Thanks, Forbes.
Yeah.
I mean, really the only one I'm just feel weird about is Adam Driver. He's really the only one that I'm like,
Yeah. I'm not, yeah.
and I
I
don't
like
dislike
Adam
Adam
Driver.
Driver. Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, if personally, he would be a decent Doctor Doom.
Sure. Yeah.
He just because I mean he's a good actor. There's other than the Star Wars movies, I've seen him in several things that, you know, he's really good at, but
Yeah. No, he's a great. I don't think there's any denying
yeah.
he's a great actor. I just he when I look at him, I don't immediately go, "Oh, Reed Richards."
Yeah, smartest man in the universe doesn't come to mind.
No, he
I
just
mean,
doesn't look.
no slight on him. That's I mean, and it's the visual of him. He just doesn't have that look about him.
Yeah, I just don't see it. But maybe I'm wrong. And that's the thing about all this casting talk. It's like I I have been so wrong about things in the past. Like I was even one of those that was like, I don't understand why they're casting what's his name as Bane. I didn't I was like, why is he Bane?
Oh, Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. I was like, I don't get it. And then I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm an idiot. So maybe
He
I don't know
wasn't
what I'm
bad in
talking
it,
about.
but I would have never. I think he was miscast.
I don't think so. I think he's
I
one of the
do.
most memorable comic book villains in film ever. I see an eyebrow. I see an eyebrow happening.
No, I think Magneto is probably one of the most iconic villains in comic book
I'm talking film, comic book
movie
film.
on comic book film.
Okay.
Personally,
You think Magneto over that Bane? I don't.
I think, but I think the Michael Fassbender Magneto.
Oh, he's great. But
That's what I'm saying.
He's a great performance, but
I mean, I like Ian McKellen, but
all I can think of when I think of Ian McKellen, like I can think of so many cool Bane lines, right? Bane's so well written and I think well performed. But when I think Ian McKellen, he's just like, Toad has a wicked tongue, Senator. Like, that's it.
But
We love
he a
what you've done
victim
with your hair.
Yeah. Well, but that's Ian McKellen. Michael
That's what I'm
Fassbender.
saying.
I'm sorry. I think Michael Fassbender was much better in the First Class.
You
And
think he's better than Bane?
yeah,
You think he's better than Venom? What's his name again?
Tom Hardy.
You think he's better than Tom Hardy?
Yes.
False.
The scene where his family dies in the second one.
Yeah. Sure, it's
and everything that after. I think as a character, Magneto in the second First Class is way better than the character of Bane. And Bane has some memorable written lines, but I think as a character as a whole,
he makes a hole in that football field.
Well, yeah. But that goes to show you, what if Christopher Nolan was directing those First Class movies?
It would be vastly different.
That's what I'm saying.
It would have been vastly different. And I think they maybe would probably, well, they absolutely would be better movies.
But
although I don't mind First Class, I have to say.
I liked them too. I
rewatched them all like 3 weeks ago.
Right.
and they're fine. There's a lot of things I don't like though.
I liked him. Well, and honestly, it's some of the X-Men characters.
Yeah,
Honestly, James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender are probably the two best things
they're
to come
fantastic.
out of those.
They're fantastic.
And that's it's yeah, I'm and performance wise, I'm not necessarily doing just like the writing and some of the dialogue, but the performance as a whole, I think Michael Fassbender, especially in the second movie. I mean, come on. The very first X-Men First Class, the scene at the bar in Argentina.
It's great. It's great. It's a great action scene. It's a great tense scene. I like it. But I don't know if it's better than the whole of Bane.
I mean, the Bane, actually, the two parts you remember the most are the football field.
No, not me.
And then,
certainly not me. The first thing I think of is that scene with Ben. What's his name? Ben something? Ben Mendelsohn. And the scene when he's kind of quietly threatening him, and he says, "And this gives you power over me? Come on, that rules." And the second thing I think of is just when he is going toe to toe with Batman in the sewer, and those shots of, oh my god, I want to watch it right now.
But in all honesty,
ooh,
if you know the character Bane more, you thought Batman had more of a chance in the movie going toe to toe with him.
I thought
before everything, if you look at them, Tom Hardy was big, but I mean, in the comic books, Bane is massive, and he's as smart as what Tom Hardy portrayed.
Yeah,
he's
also pretty massive in the movie.
Well, no, but
he's not like Arkham Asylum, the game version. That's crazy.
And even in the comic books, I mean, Batman's a tall guy in the comic books, and he's looking up at Bane.
Yeah, and he dwarfs Batman. I mean, yeah, for sure.
He makes Batman look like a dwarf compared to him.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not talking out the Venom roided out version.
Yeah.
I'm talking like the one that's sipping Chianti while saying, I will take everything from you.
I will break you.
Yeah.
With no survivors. What does he say? He's like, I'm going to bring down this plane with no survivors.
Yeah.
It's not quite like that.
That would have been a funnier scene if that's how he said it.
I'm Googling it.
Yeah.
Crashing this plane with no survivors. I don't know. It's probably not like that. Hang on, I'm going to listen to it.
Okay.
I'm going to listen to it.
We're going to listen to the audio.
Never mind. There's a commercial for Eve online. It's going to take forever for this to go.
Okay. No, but in that case, I do, and it's, yet again, it's personal, like, and I don't want to make it out that I don't like
Why do you hate
any of the Nolan Batman.
Why do you hate Batman?
It's
which
just
we
the
know
opposite.
that you don't.
I was going to say,
anyone thinks
hold
that
on.
you do.
I'm pissed at some of the stuff that they tried to do to ruin Batman. So,
don't you wish we would have gotten the? I every time I watched the last one, I'm like, I wanted to see the sequel to that where Joseph Gordon-Levitt gets to be Robin, and I wanted to see
Nightfall.
Batman. It was going so towards it.
I know, and that was the one.
It's not too late. They could do it.
Too late. Yeah,
DC, please.
But they're going brave and the bold, so
which is fine.
Honestly, I wasn't a huge fan of that storyline. So
it's not my favorite.
I'm not.
No.
I'm. And casting, it all revolves around casting. He doesn't necessarily have to be the 6'5" Batfleck actor, but
yeah,
he's got to have. Batman is a character that has to have the acting chops
for sure. Not just for the Bruce Wayne stuff, but even the Batman. He needs to be threatening. He needs to be a little bit unhinged. I think Michael Keaton weirdly sort of sets all that up.
Right.
He's the one to beat. I mean, obviously Bale, amazing,
Yeah,
and I think Pattinson respectably great. But
he did fine. He
yeah.
did fine. I had some critiques with it, but
You don't like
him in
Nirvana?
the suit, huh?
You don't like Nirvana?
No, I didn't like the fact that when he was just in his normal Bruce Wayne clothes, he looked like he should have been part of Green Day.
I like that look for him. He's a little goth
No,
dude. He
that's not
dresses up like
him.
a bat. He's a
That
leather
is not
guy.
him. That
This
is
one
not
is.
him.
No,
Yeah,
he's into it.
unfortunately.
I'm into it.
Now in the bat suit, I liked him way better in the suit
It's great.
than
And I will still say, definitely my favorite Batmobile. I mean, it just is. Agree? Do you agree?
it's good. I don't know if I would say favorite.
It's certainly my favorite.
I mean, I know this in the movies, I would probably say it's pretty close.
Yeah.
But all time has got to be, the Batman animated series, my favorite car.
That is the Batmobile.
That is the Batman.
But if we're talking, cinematically,
yeah,
I think the Batman takes it. But no, yeah, the Batman the animated series is Batman. Like that's it. Like
yes.
that's Batman.
And that's
the real guy.
The reason, and
that's the real one.
Yes, that is the real one. And that's why I say I don't like so much the emo Bruce because of Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah, which I need. I don't. Are they doing or have they recently done a 4K like blue of that? I need to get that. I haven't seen that in years.
I don't know if it's out yet or not. If maybe I'm wrong, but
I need to see that again. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
I had that old VHS.
I still do.
The big clamshell.
Clamshell, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So
anyway, we're talking Fantastic Four.
And we moved on to DC. Anyway, yeah.
I am excited to see some good DC. It's been too long.
Yeah. Okay, well, we know. Yeah, I know. All right, let's get back to Fantastic Four because that's what we started with, and we completely went off the edge. Did you kind of, because we talked about it off air about who you would want to see in those roles?
I started to look and think about it,
and
then I became overwhelmed and said, I don't care. I looked and I saw lots of fan castings. I saw like Taron Egerton as that's for Wolverine, and I was like, that's cool. But as far as Fantastic Four goes, it almost is like, just make sure they're good actors and make sure the story's good. I don't have a personal favorite. Do you have favorites? I want to know what you
I do. I really actually who I would. Okay, obviously, and I know it's not going to happen, and I hate the fact that it's not going to happen. But I'm sorry, John Krasinski is Reed Richards. I mean, he looked like he left off the page. Now, mind you,
a version of him, yes, for sure.
But I really liked him. Other than what dialogue they gave him,
it's funny that there was. I do remember there being like a backlash, like, "Oh, he sucked." Just Reed Richards. He didn't suck. They didn't give him anything to do.
They didn't give him anything to do. Everybody was mad because they gave him the line of, "He can destroy you with one speak."
Oh yeah. It's come on.
But that was writing. That wasn't.
Yeah. Come on. And I still love that scene. I still love that movie.
Yeah.
So no, he's fine. If they want to keep him, fine. But I heard that was like a one and done.
Yeah. Which
I wouldn't be mad though if they said, "Oh yeah, it's Krasinski." Fine.
No, but I think that's my envision of most of like the 80s and 90s and and even going into the Ultimates of Reed Richards.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that's I just want to see what's on a good version of what's on the page come out.
I like the Reed Richards where he looks kind of like Kingdom Come Superman, where he's just like
the gray on the sides.
Yeah, and he's kind of heavy, not heavy, but he's got like his face
a girth to him.
Well, yeah, he does, and he's got like a real square jaw.
Yeah,
and he's like a scientist from the 50s, like exactly what you think.
Right.
That's Fantastic Four. To me. It's just like this goofy 50s and 60s sci-fi thing.
That's why I kind of have the issue with Adam Driver being Reed. I can't see him in that spot, and he doesn't have that look of, like you said,
Hmm.
that. And then Jodie Comer as Sue.
Hold on, Jodie
Comer. She was in
Comer.
Free Guy.
I haven't seen Free Guy.
It's a
Let's
fun
see.
movie.
I heard it was. I just haven't gotten around to it. I don't know if I've seen her in anything. Let me see. IMDb. She's Rey's mother. Okay, in Star Wars.
Yeah.
So you see her hand?
No, remember when they were getting pulled away at the
I barely remember.
yeah.
So I don't think I've literally seen anything she's in. So I'll have to take your word for it.
But she's been in probably more stuff than you realize. But she's a really good actress.
Yeah, it
And
looks
I
like
think,
she's been doing it since 2008.
yeah,
And no, I haven't seen anything on here except for Star Wars, and she's barely in
right.
that.
And my idea of, she's a really attractive woman, but she has more of a motherly like aura around her,
Mhm.
which I think that's what you want with Sue.
I could see her as Sue Storm, just looking at her, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Margot Robbie, she's just as attractive and she's a decent actress. But if this movie, from what they're saying, is supposed to be Sue driven, I don't know if she can balance that kind of.
I would be okay with Margot Robbie. Personally, I don't have a problem
Mm.
with her. It's fine with me.
And then Ben Grimm, I don't want another origin movie. Let me state that to fact.
Yeah, I agree.
I
We don't
don't
need
need to see it. I don't care to see it. It's like, honestly, it's like, I don't want to see Uncle Ben die again.
that. Right,
I don't want to
exactly.
see Bruce get hit with the gamma radiation collider. I
Uh-huh.
don't,
We don't really need to see it.
we don't need to see that.
If it can be,
But
if you need a flashback or whatever, fine. But do
somebody
Marvel
with
fans really need? No, I don't think we need that.
no. And honestly, when we get the X-Men, I don't want X-Men Origin again either.
Sorry, they're
We
going to
know
do
we've
X
had
Men
so
Origins
many.
Wolverine all
I
over
know,
again.
yeah. No, but I mean, we don't need a first class. And so we don't need, personally, I don't think we need the original five, to be the first team again.
Mm-hmm.
I want it set with some weight, with some more. Anyway, Ben Grimm. I want the Rocky Ben Grimm at the start.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And
Do you want him to be able to change?
no,
Okay, he's stuck as Ben Grimm,
he's stuck. Yeah,
feeding his darkness,
yeah,
for lack of a better word.
yeah. But Michael Dorn,
Mm-hmm.
he's got he doesn't have that uber super deep voice like a Vin Diesel or a Brad Garrett or somebody like that. Worf.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find if I'm trying to see if anyone's done a like a mock-up of him as Ben Grimm.
Probably not.
No, I'm not seeing anything there, but that would be
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Because he's got good acting chops, especially if you saw him in the last season of Picard. He
Yeah,
was really good in that.
I haven't watched
And
any of
and
that.
and there's been in other stuff. And then
Yeah, he's good.
there's a kid, his name is Alex Lang. He's a real young actor. He was in the medical drama Code Black.
Let's see. Oh yeah, looks like a pretty young. No, that's not the right person. Is there an E on the end?
Alex, no, Alex. Oh, on Lang, yes.
Okay. Let me see if there's anything there that I.
I mean,
Nope,
he's
nothing
a
I've
younger,
seen.
newer, yeah.
But okay, sure.
But that Code Black was a really good medical drama that I used to watch, and I'm just going through some younger actors that aren't necessarily super well known.
Okay.
And I think that's what, even though there's a lot of fan castings that have a lot of more well known actors in them, and John Krasinski is definitely well known, But I think just having a few more like second tier stardom actors that are really good.
I'd rather
I
have good
think
actors.
that's what I mean. And I think that's what
Quality over
set
name.
some of and I think that's what set some of the original Marvel movies apart.
Hmm.
They weren't necessarily that super household name to begin with.
Sure.
They were known but not, superstars.
Yeah, like I would say Hugh Jackman at the time.
Yeah,
It
nobody knew
wasn't.
who he
Yeah.
was. I
Yeah.
mean, we almost got a Dougray Scott Wolverine.
I don't. Who's that? I don't know who that is.
He was in Mission Impossible 2, I think.
Doug Ray. His name is Doug Ray.
Doug Ray Scott.
Doug Ray is a cool name. I probably know who this is.
You will if
Let
you
me see
see him.
here. Doug Ray Scott. You said he was possibly going to be Wolverine?
Yeah, he actually was until he couldn't get out of the set of Mission Impossible.
Like he was literally trapped there. They couldn't
Well,
find his way out. They couldn't find the door.
they were filming longer and couldn't get. Yeah,
I should know who he is. I'm looking at his.
I know. Yeah,
Yeah, I should know who he is, but I just don't. He was in the Highlander TV show,
yeah,
which I weirdly watched some of that.
yeah,
Deep Impact, I've seen that.
yeah.
Let's see here. Mission Impossible 2, of course. I just don't remember
Right.
him in that. Although it's been, I mean, when did that come out? I haven't seen it since it was new. Dark Water, I've seen. Hitman, the Hitman movie. Okay.
Yeah,
Tons of stuff that I've
yeah.
seen.
But yeah,
He's in Taken 3.
like I said, he's been in a ton of stuff. We almost got him as Wolverine.
He's got the right
he
look.
actually was cast originally, but then couldn't get out of to film anything.
Sure. Yeah, he's got the right look for sure.
But no, I mean, with all the casting stuff, I kind of had an idea. We've got Fantastic Four, and that's coming, and we know X-Men are coming. So I had a few ideas for how to bring the mutants into the fold.
Okay.
And where to take them. And I kind of went down my own, X-Men is probably one of my favorite franchises next to Batman.
Yeah.
I went down a massive rabbit hole of X-Men storylines.
Let's do it.
Okay. Now we're gonna get Secret. We know we're getting Secret Wars at some point before really anybody else is introduced, and I think that's where they're going is with Fantastic Four and.
If they're going for the modern Secret
X-Men.
Wars, you have to have the Fantastic Four unless they change something majorly.
Well, and that's my only dilemma that there's going into the modern Secret Wars. Because they've been doing a lot of the post 2000 storylines.
Yeah.
Which I'm sorry. Let's take it back. And I think between X-Men and Fantastic Four, they've got to go further back and a little more.
Particularly the Fantastic Four, I think really needs to. I think some of the newer X-Men stuff might be well suited for the MCU, but for me, personally, the Fantastic Four stuff, like I really want to see some of that classic stuff. But anyway, go on.
I don't want to see. No offense, I liked the original beginning of it, but I don't want to see any House of X. I don't want to see Sword of X or any of that stuff as a beginning of the X-Men's roots.
I don't think you could start there anyway. Not really.
Well, but they may try. There's 4 storylines that are some of the best 80s and 90s storylines.
Let's be honest. If you're talking X-Men,
it's Claremont and it's Claremont and it's the 80s and 90s.
I agree with you here.
Okay. Now I'm going to go with the storylines first that I want to see. The Mutant Massacre storyline, which that was introduced a little bit after the Giant Number 1, a little bit further down.
Okay.
So, and I don't think we even need to go back as far as the Giant Number 1, which would have been like, the beginning of Wolverine, Storm, Thunderbird.
That's a great place to start, though, if they want to.
Right. But I think to bring it in and give it some weight, I think Mutant Massacre. Then we move to the Mutants Genesis. go to Extinction Agenda,
Okay, yeah.
and then finish it off, because at this point, the way I almost have it set up, we're looking at 10 years right now with those. And to finish it off in that decade, I would go with the Inferno storyline,
Okay.
because that would bring us into all of, like Ghost Rider,
Yeah, 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 yeah. It gets a little darker
Blades,
there for sure. Yeah.
and that's where I'd like to eventually see the Marvel universe go to,
Yeah, I like that one.
something
Yeah.
that they haven't tapped in.
Hmm.
Okay, so we'll start off with Mutant Massacre. I said, this brings in the mutants into the MCU, and said, and I reiterated before, no real origin story. We don't need it. We know the X-Men. We know how it all started. The same thing, the same way they brought in Spider-Man in the MCU.
Yeah.
There was no real origin story for him. He had already been, quote unquote, Spider-Man at some point. Well, with a lot of the disappearance and murder of Morlocks, which are like the underground society,
Yeah.
you have finally, when it gets to a point, like a terminal velocity point, and that's kind of where it'll start at. Um, Xavier brings out the X-Men to the world,
Hmm.
and that'll also in turn bring out Magneto and Hellfire Club. That all
Yeah.
these organizations have been, under the radar
In the
all this time,
shadows.
you
Yeah.
know, all this time to finally come up to this really, almost a genocidal effect that it's starting to seep out into the normal MCU world.
Yep.
So it's starting to get noticed by people like the Avengers and Shield and this kind of stuff.
Yep.
All right. So I did some little casting. This is my longest page of casting.
All right. Do it.
Need a swig.
Have a drink. Get ready.
All right. We've already stated, I've already stated that I want James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender as
So you want them to come back?
Magneto. I want them to come back.
Okay.
I mean, we can start off with a more of a middle-aged Professor X.
Yeah.
And
Is he
and
bald?
both the actors have, oh yeah.
Hell yes, he's bald.
Oh yes, he is. It's his head is as iconic as his wheelchair.
True. It's true.
And both the actors have aged some, so since the First Class stuff, so it would be a little more believable in that that kind of realm. Now Hellfire Club, I would like at this point just the White Queen Emma Frost and the Black Queen Selene to be present in this. We can build more later in future things if we want to go there.
Sure.
But Emma Frost, I don't know if you'll know this actress, Catherine Winnick.
I can Google her.
She was Lagertha in Vikings.
Is it Winnick?
Winnick.
Okay. Let's see here.
I mean, if you've ever watched the show Vikings, you know her.
She's in the movie Polar, which I did see that movie.
Yeah.
That's
She's also movie. In a show that's going on right now. I can't remember. Big Sky.
Haven't seen it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the only thing I've seen of hers, just quickly glancing, is probably. Oh no, she was in one episode of House. I weirdly have seen all of House.
Yeah.
She's in Hellraiser Hellworld. All right, I've seen that. It's terrible.
No, but
it's Satan's Little Helper.
Yeah. Vikings, she was awesome in, and then and she's she's got that Emma Frost look.
Sure.
And she's a good actress, and she can, in like I said, in that show Vikings, she's kicked plenty of people's asses.
She looks like a pretty good casting. I agree.
Yeah. And Selene, I want Rebecca Ferguson.
Okay.
You know who she is,
I
right?
recognize that name. Yeah, yeah,
She's
yeah.
in the Mission Impossible movies, the
She's
later
great.
ones.
Yep.
You know, she was in.
She's in Dune.
Yes, she's the mom.
Yeah, she's really good in Dune. I
Yes,
really like her.
and
I
I would.
yeah, I would really support Rebecca Ferguson for
Yeah.
sure.
So those are my two Hellfire Club members. All right, now I'm going to go with what in the comic books a lot of the characters that were in during the Mutant Massacre storyline in the comic book. All right, so I'm going to say Wolverine for last.
Okay.
All right, Cyclops, Glenn Powell.
Okay.
He was Hangman in Top Gun Maverick. I've talked about him before that's who I want as Cyclops. Okay, now Jean Grey. I want because you need somebody taller, you know, that has that look. Elizabeth Debicki.
I'm gonna have to Google that one.
You'll recognize her the minute that you.
Yes. Okay. I
She was
her.
Alicia.
Oh, she's in Guardians.
Guardians, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 I know her.
So
okay.
So yeah,
she's great.
Yeah, she's been in a bunch. She was in Man from Uncle.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay.
And then she's in that show The Crown.
She was in the Cloverfield Paradox.
Yeah, she's been in a ton of stuff. Rogue, which is going to be an iconic character throughout some of that, for sure, a lot of that story. That Alexandra Daddario. Or Daddario. You'll recognize her the minute you see her.
I think this was she in that movie where they.
She was in Percy Jackson.
Was she in that movie where they're like it's like a cult or something?
Yes. Where the girls were like the demon.
I loved that movie.
Yeah,
we summoned the darkness.
We summoned the darkness. That was it. I couldn't remember the name of it, but yeah.
People, I recommend that movie big time. Go watch We Summon the Darkness. Movie. Yes. Yeah. I really like that movie. Yeah.
But I want her as Rogue.
Okay.
So now Colossus is going to be another big person through literally. Alan Ritchson. You'll know him when you see him too. He's Jack Reacher in the Amazon.
Richardson?
Richson.
Oh, Richson.
Richson, yeah.
Richson. Okay.
He's the new Jack Reacher in the Amazon.
Right. Okay, cool. Yeah, he looks like Colossus.
Yeah. And he's a pretty good actor. He can even have some comedic. He's had some comedic roles before.
He definitely looks like Colossus.
And he was actually just in the new Fast X.
Okay.
So Shadowcat. She's also, that's one of those characters that go through this whole process.
Yep.
Joey King. She's been in tons and tons of stuff.
Joey
King? King.
Oh,
she was just in Bullet Train.
Hold on, is she in Sin City?
I think so. No. You're thinking of somebody else.
The Conjuring.
You're thinking of the girl from with the mom and the daughter, the old on the.
Well, she looks like her.
Yeah, kind of.
A lot to me.
Yeah.
In my mind. Oh, she's in Dark Knight Rises.
You were thinking Gilmore Girls.
Was I?
Yeah, that's who that was. The one that was in there.
Okay. Well, anyway, yes.
Yeah. Because she's actually just in the Bullet Train.
Okay, I did see that.
So.
Oh, she was the main villain. Is that a spoiler?
Yeah.
Well, not
it's
the main
been out
villain,
long enough. She was one of
sort of a villain, but I guess the spoiler is that she's not really. Anyway,
yeah,
spoiling this film.
Yeah, it's been out way long enough.
Yeah.
Okay, Nightcrawler, one of your favorites, Timothy Chalamet.
He'd be great. He'd be great as Nightcrawler for sure.
Okay, and then Storm. I remember this girl from a couple of these because you know me with like police dramas and stuff like that. She's named Anna Diop, Diop. She was in Quantico. She was in 24 Legacy.
Okay. Let me see if I've seen her in anything. And you want her for Storm?
Storm, yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, she's in Us.
Yeah.
Did you say that already?
No, I hadn't yet.
Or was I not listening to you?
No. Well, that happens frequently, but no, I hadn't said that yet.
No, I know her from Us. Okay, great.
Yeah.
She's in Titans.
Yeah.
She plays Starfire? Is that right?
You sure?
I don't know. It's just what it says.
Anna Diop. D-I-O-P.
No, she plays Corey Anders.
I was going to say.
Okay, never mind. I was like, I don't think she...
no,
I don't
she
know.
Wasn't, yeah.
Anyway, go on.
Anyway, but her as Storm. And then finally, for this movie, all right, Tom Hardy as Wolverine.
Okay.
I know he's Venom, but he needs to move. The dude is Wolverine.
More than Taron Egerton?
Yes, way more.
What if he got jacked up? He's shorter.
Not by much.
Yeah, I wonder. He's shorter than Hugh Jackman. That's all I know. I almost said he's shorter than Wolverine.
They're both. Tom Hardy's not very tall.
I think Tom Hardy's not a bad choice. I wouldn't be mad if they said, "Oh, it's
because
Tom Hardy."
I want Wolverine to look older than the majority of the rest of the X-Men.
He needs to,
because he should be.
I don't want a younger guy to play Wolverine.
No, and I mean, freaking Tom Hardy's a jiu-jitsu champion, so he can fight. I mean, you've seen him in Batman and other movies, and what was it? Warriors? Is that the one with him and where he was the MMA guy?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, but yeah, Venom is kind of on the back burner for anything that I'm interested in, other than a Spider-Man Venom movie. So,
I'd like a dark Venom movie.
Yeah, it wouldn't be bad. But yeah, that would be my initial casting for the first movie.
Okay.
So, and mind you, when I talk, all these characters stay the same throughout, so it's not like we're switching.
Okay.
After movies. Okay, then we do the Dark Genesis, which we can also encompass to actually fill in the plot holes of Eternals.
Okay.
That the what was it? God, why am I drawing a blank? That they killed the creature.
The giant, the guy coming out of the earth.
Yeah.
The
Celestial.
The Celestial, yeah.
Anyway, the way it was forming looked like it was becoming like this island in the middle of, and we can make that as Genosha, since that was their whole thing with, they're manipulating beings and all this energy and everything else. So we can fill that plot hole with that being Genosha. Bring that to, we introduce a couple of other characters. So this will pull the story through to government involvement now with mutants and this testing and experiments and stuff like that. And Dazzler.
Yes.
Introduced. You'll probably know this one, Stephanie Scott. She was in Insidious 3.
That's the first thing that came up was Insidious 3.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
So we'll introduce Gambit.
Who's playing Gambit?
Ian Somerhalder.
I know that name. Hang on. I'm not good at...
He was in Lost and Vampire Diaries.
Do you mean Ian Somerhalder?
Yeah, I always mispronounce the last name. Somerhalder. Yeah.
Okay,
I always say Somerhalder.
Yeah, I do know him.
Okay. Now, and a big part of this, because you're going a couple of, with this Genesis thing, there's kind of multiple angles on this. We would introduce, other than the head of Genosha, which I want Clancy Brown.
Who doesn't?
Especially after his John Wick 4 performance.
Oh, I would have wanted him before that.
That's how I want him to act as the head of Genosha through the
Sure.
whole entire thing until final conflict.
Hmm.
That deadpan, you know,
Definitely.
something that I thought the High Evolutionary should have been mostly in Guardians.
Right.
That monotone, I'm more superior than you'll ever think of.
Yeah, but I
You
liked
know,
him in the
and
movie a lot. I thought he was a great take.
um, but your other big bad will be Omega Red.
Of course. Who's gonna be Omega Red?
A guy by the name of Adrian Bochette.
Adrian Boucher.
Boucher. I'm not French, so I say shit. He was in The Last Kingdom. Big
Okay.
dude. Kind of has that.
I'm seeing something called Predator Dark Ages. What the hell is Predator Dark Ages? It's a short film where Templar knights fight a predator. What?
Yeah,
That sounds awesome.
that does sound awesome. I didn't see that one.
It's a short film, I guess. It's just
But
on
yeah.
YouTube. Anyway, go on.
But this dude's massive. So could you imagine him going toe to toe with Tom Hardy
Well, sure.
as a Omega Red and Wolverine?
Yeah. Sure.
And then I would also like to introduce in this one Betsy Braddock,
Okay.
Psylocke.
Yeah.
But I want her before Siege Perilous, before she switches with the age. I want her the English version in this one.
Okay.
So Kaya, was it Scodelaria? She was in Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Kaya? How do you spell Kaya?
Kaya. Kaya.
I tried it 3 other ways. I think I recognize her. She was in Crawl,
Mm-hmm.
not Kroll,
No, not Crawl,
but I
which
love
is an
Kroll.
awesome movie.
I love Kroll. Yes.
Yeah. But I want her in this one
I
as
I don't know. I like the more recent Psylocke.
But I'm not done yet.
Okay. All right. All right.
We go with Extinction Agenda, which this will move the story forward. Because all these are happening during other Marvel, properties going on. This is just that X-Men line, which this kind of brings in back and forth. Extinction Agenda, which after the destruction of Genosha, these world governments basically make mutants public enemy number one.
Of course.
So you're also in this one, you're introducing Asteroid M.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Okay.
And you're going to have the Acolytes.
Okay. Yep.
So
now you're talking X-Men, baby.
Yes, I know. Now we're hitting. Now for all the different Acolytes, I didn't really cast too many because we know like Colossus decides to join the Acolytes, so we're getting him moving to there, and there's a few other. The main one, which actually we know turns on Magneto, is Exodus, and the dude I saw that I really looked at some of his work. His name is Elias Gable, Elyes.
Elyes. It's probably a lot. Do you think
He
it's
was in
pronounced
World
Elias?
War Elias, maybe. He was in World War Z and Interstellar.
Okay. All right, works for me.
So, and then with the Asteroid X, I'd love to have Polaris be introduced.
Sure.
So, Riley Vokel, she was in like Roswell, New Mexico, and Chicago Fire.
Okay. I'm looking at her now.
Yeah. Imagine her with green hair and.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, I could see that. She was in American Horror Story as
right
Fiona Good. I'm sure I've seen it, but I don't remember.
And then in the middle of this one, we're going to introduce Mr. Sinister.
Okay, who's Mr. Sinister?
Okay, now, personally, the way I've read this, now, mind you, I've seen all the, X-Men animated series and everything else.
Yeah.
For some reason, I always thought that Mr. Sinister had a Scottish accent.
Interesting.
I
Why?
don't know why. Just he always, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Just the
You
way
know
he
how
was
Scots
portrayed in the
look
books. And
just
he's
like
always
Mr.
kind of,
Sinister?
he's always that, almost a Bond villain. You know what I'm
Okay. I
saying?
mean, yeah, that's not true. That's not untrue. Yeah, I agree with you there.
That oh that Sam what's his name? Harrigan? He's in Outlander. He's like the main guy in Outlander.
Sam Harrigan. Nope, this is not
Look up
uh
Outlander on
Outlander.
IMDb.
And what character?
Well, look at the actor's name is Sam.
Sam. Sam Witwicky?
No,
Oh man, this is gonna take me forever. Uh
he's the very first character.
oh, there I went right back. I'm like, we couldn't be
I'm
the
like,
first one. I'm
he's
not
like
gonna
the
look at the
main
first one.
guy. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, he let me paint him blue in my mind. Hang on.
Well, Mr. Sinister's white
Well, okay.
with
He's
black.
kind of he's
Yeah.
bluish. He's kind of bluish sometimes, I would say. I could see it. No, I could definitely see it. Yeah,
But
put the
yeah,
little diamond on his forehead.
it's just I've always had him almost like a Bond villain.
No, I think you're right
You,
there,
you
and
know.
I think that would be a good casting. I agree.
Okay, and then finally we move into Inferno,
All right,
which I want as a two-part movie.
all right.
And this is going to bring everybody in the MCU because this is a world-shattering
Yeah.
event. Okay. It's an after the disastrous and death, of the previous movies with the, you know, extinction agendas and stuff, in the previous Mr. Sinister's main plot comes you know, into being to infiltrate the X-Men and, with Jean Grey's initial passing,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Sinister, we all know that Madeline Pryor is the genetic clone of
Yes.
Jean Grey.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first movie, I want like the manipulation and a couple, they've been living under being everything that's gone on the last couple of years. Him and Madeline Scott, Cyclops and Madeline get together and everything that transpires in there. Some people leave due to the events and start their own. We get Excalibur introduced.
Yeah.
And New Mutants introduced.
Oh yeah.
So, Kitty and Kurt travel over to England and start Excalibur.
Did you cast Kitty?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Joey King.
Oh, okay. You already told me that. Okay. Yep. Sorry.
No. And then Timothy Chalamet and Joey King were Nightcrawler, and they
what
go
a
over to
hot
England,
little couple.
And anyway, through this movie, things happen, and persecution starts to ramp up and everything else, and it comes out that Sinister's plan gets somewhat found out, and Madeline Pryor was just a diversion, and in the comic books that and they find out that Jean Grey was actually not killed but captured.
Mm-hmm.
So on a mission, they find her. So the love triangle ensues, and Madeline Pryor gets basically kicked to the curb. So she goes on a mental spiral and goes in and gets persuaded into the dark arts.
Oh boy,
You
the
know,
dark arts.
we get to
It
see
happens too often.
the first aspect of Limbo
Yeah,
and Valesco.
that's pretty cool. Yeah,
So, um, and because of having the New Mutants tie-in, you know, Ileana is in the New Mutants,
of course.
and she finds out about this, and all that happens. Like in that we know in the that Limbo revolts against her, and more darkness, supernatural.
Yes,
Well, anyway, that would be like the end of the first movie where all hell breaks loose, literally,
literally. Hmm.
literally. So, and then we move to the second movie where it starts bleeding into not only the X-Men universe, but the Avengers,
It would have to.
Spider-Man,
Yeah,
you know, Doctor
Doctor
Strange,
Strange.
all this starts bleeding into. And the second part of Inferno kind of leads up to an end game sort of finale.
Yeah.
So the couple two I didn't cast Rachel Summers because I was thinking it's like, okay, well, we don't want too much of we've already done so much of the multiverse and time and everything else. It would be a little hard to have any kind of coherent story with her in Excalibur.
Okay.
But I did cast the other two. Megan, which we know is the blonde, that's the
robot
Faye.
that the kid
No,
gets. Yeah.
the Faye.
No, M3.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
No. Breck Basinger. Kim Basinger's
I was going
daughter.
to say, must be related to Kim.
Yeah. She was in the Haunted. She was actually as a kid in School of Rock.
Okay.
And then Captain Britain.
Yes.
Who do you think I cast?
It's Henry Cavill.
It is Henry Cavill. You gotta have him as Henry.
He's perfect. Yeah.
He's gotta have.
Yeah.
And then like the core group of New Mutants, Anna Taylor-Joy has got to be Ileana.
She's great.
I mean,
Fine.
she was perfect. She was the best thing to come out of the New Mutants show. Sam, which is Cannonball, completely recast.
I wouldn't mind if we lost Cannonball. Not my favorite character.
Well, I like him better in the comics than I do that he was ever in that movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Mason Dye, he was in Stranger Things. He was
Who's he in Stranger Things?
The dickhead jock in season 4.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
Jason.
Yeah.
I just watched it. I just rewatched season 4.
Sunspot. There's a guy named I think you pronounce it Froy or Froy Gutierrez. Froy.
Okay. Looks like he's a little younger.
Yeah.
He's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he has been in a lot of stuff.
He's in The Strangers and he's in Hocus Pocus 2.
Yeah.
Wait, he's in The Strangers, or is this a remake of The Strangers?
No, I think it's a remake.
Interesting. Anyway, go on.
Mirage.
Yeah.
There's a girl named Alyssa. I'm gonna butcher this name. Wapana.
Oh, okay, hang on.
Wapana Talk.
Alyssa.
Wapana.
Wapanatahk. I think Wapanatahk is probably right.
Okay. I was trying not to butcher it.
No, that sounds right.
She was in Peter and Wendy.
Peter and Wendy.
I thought about what's her name? Mid Thunder from
she's so good. I want her.
But I want her as X-23.
Oh yeah. That would be really cool.
So eventually I want her as X.
That works for me.
And then because he plays a big part in it, Cypher, and Doug is his first name. Ross Lynch, he was used to be a Disney kid. Austin and Alley.
Okay, I don't think I've seen anything he's in, but I'll
No,
believe you.
probably not.
No, nothing I've seen. I don't think.
But you need some blonde, goofy kind of looking kid,
Yeah.
younger guy. And then the one thing I had, because he would have to be animated, CGI, is Warlock.
Okay. Yeah.
And I had this was honestly the hardest one to kind of get who in voice and have that kind of voice that would be an alien out of fish out of water,
Uh huh.
still kind of learning.
It would be
And
interesting to
this is
see
the one that I
Warlock on the screen.
want a suggestion from you. Who would you think? Somebody like that.
Oh, I don't know. How could I know? I mean,
I
just
mean,
look at.
just look at the character. And,
Well, yeah. I don't know, man. That's just weird. I don't know.
I know, right?
It's
That's why I had such a hard time. But he's such an integral part of that, especially that Inferno storyline.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. That's so hard to say, and it looks so weird. It could just be a CG, like a robot voice.
Well, that,
What if it's a robot?
But it
voice?
has to have. But it has to have some kind of.
But if I remember right, isn't he kind of like he's like half robot, half alive?
That's later on with Doug.
Okay.
Because he like merges with him to bring him back to life when he gets
Okay.
killed.
Uh
But he's an alien. I mean, he's like a
an
robotic
alien.
alien.
Somebody that does a good alien voice. I don't know.
Well, and that's what I mean. I was like, really.
That's why when I was
What
like
about? I
looking at
was
this, I'm like,
thinking,
I don't know.
okay, remember? Okay, Gotham, the TV show.
Uh-huh.
The guy that played Penguin. He was also like the guy at the service desk in John Wick 4 of the, where all the operators were.
I'm trying to find out who that actor is. Actor.
He's got 3 names.
Robin Lord Taylor.
Yes.
I mean, sure. Yeah. Sure. I don't know. I'll have to take your word for it. I don't know. I don't know. Remember his voice.
It's kind of nasally, kind of higher pitched.
All right.
Yeah, I something like that, and then between his voice and some kind of synthesized.
That's what I'm thinking. It would have to be all robotic anyway.
Eventually. But it would have to have some kind of character, and like just thinking of like, from the books itself, he was kind of, almost like they tried to make Adam Warlock in Guardians, where he's still kind of almost mentally
a
childish.
Yeah.
But not quite as childlike,
Probably
so
be pretty scary to look at, I think.
Right. But that's what I would want, is something a little more dark. To end it. That way we can bring up, at that point, Midnight Suns and Dark Avengers.
Yeah.
And
that would rule. I agree.
Yeah. So, Kevin Feige, I'm coming for your job. I wear a ball cap all the time too. I'll just
that's all you
change the color of it, and
no one will even know.
No. Couldn't do any worse recently.
Well, when I sat down to think about these things, I was crushed by just anxiety. Like, I don't know anything. I don't know any actors. Just give me a good movie. So I'm glad you did all the work there.
Yeah, I'm glad I can help out there a little bit.
Yes.
No, but I mean, this I know they're not going to do anything
It
even
would be
remotely
cool at
close
least for
to
them to
this.
do like a why couldn't they just give us like, because some of those stories are awesome and like classic X-Men stories.
Right.
Why not just some animated movies or something? Like let's have some of those, because we haven't seen like really hardly any of that stuff.
Well, and that's DC's like territory. It seems like the animated movie sense.
Exactly. And they're getting some of their lesser known but great stories out there
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
Do it, Marvel. Let's go. Put them straight onto Disney Plus. Take my
No, but
money.
I'm going to see this because these would have the actual like gravity. I think in stories that I think an X-Men movie really needs.
It would be
And
fun. Yeah, it would be good.
and then that would bring more gravity to the actual MCU instead
Sure.
of kind of what we've been getting, especially lately. And it's not like you can't have humor in some of these. There's plenty of them in these. You know,
Well, yeah, sure.
so
Yeah,
in the
that would be fun.
storylines.
I agree, though. I'd like to see these things.
But I think there was such a divergence from after Endgame, the way the Marvel movies were going, that it really like almost fell too far into that comedy, action and
It definitely
comedy.
seems like they haven't been quite sure what the direction is.
So
But
hopefully,
I will
yeah.
still defend Doctor
I
Strange, and I
I
will
know you
definitely
will.
defend
I know we will.
Guardians 3.
Oh yeah. Guardians 3 I think was James Gunn's Dear John letter.
Yeah, let me make
the
one of
the
your best
goodbye.
films,
Yeah,
and then leave you.
yeah. His Dear John letter to the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Yeah,
we'll see what happens. I mean,
absolutely.
everything that's going on right now, who knows what direction it's going to take. I mean, we've got really to November of what's actually made.
Yeah.
So, we'll see what happens. Because your beloved Blade hasn't gotten very far off the ground.
No, it's like thing after thing. We'll see. We will see.
What is it? Blade being made is like Matt and Damon being on Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh, we didn't have time. We ran out of time.
Yeah. So, but we'll see what happens. Like I said, it's just some ideas and get. It's kind of a slow week and stuff, so some fun ideas for everybody to debate.
And yeah, let us know. Do you like the
Yeah.
casting? What would you think?
Who would you change? What
would you
would you put
change?
in?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that includes Fantastic Four too. So, and then what two we didn't touch on, which should be the other characters involved, is Galactus and Silver Surfer.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, they're pretty important.
yeah,
All across the dang MCU and all
right,
across Marvel.
right. So you guys give us your takes on that.
I think my ultimate. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead. No,
Well,
go
I
ahead.
think my ultimate, what I really want right now from the MCU is to really start doing some
Good stories.
Well, some singular. Give us some of those characters we haven't had yet. Like I want Blade. Like Blade's one of them.
Right.
Give me Ghost Rider. Give me like I really want like a Luke Cage. Like let's reboot Luke Cage a little bit. Give me a Luke Cage movie. Give me a Daredevil movie. I know they're doing the show, but like I think Daredevil needs a movie. Do all that and like let's lead up to a Midnight Suns or something like that.
Yeah.
Well,
initially the way they were starting to do stuff, we thought that was happening, but here recently, who knows?
I wouldn't mind trying again with the Defenders. But yeah, whatever. Anyway, like you were saying, if you have ideas, let us know. Tell us in the Discord. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. Find us there.
Absolutely.
Link for the Discord's in the description of the episode.
Yep.
Hop in.
Now, I have an idea. I don't even do this on air for you. We talked about, yeah, I know, surprise, surprise. We talked about closer to either after the release, and I think more after the release of the Marvels.
Mm-hmm.
Us doing
Ranking
a big show
Yeah.
ranking the MCU. We may talk about this a lot and see if you guys will even want us to do a live show,
Sure.
and
That
we
might be
can
fun.
have some guests on
Sure.
to help debate, and we
That's
can go
interesting.
through kind of just something fun, you know.
Yeah.
We may have a few alternative beverages and some good hearty name calling, but
Alternative
past that, it'll all
beverages.
be in good jest.
All right.
So
That's an interesting idea. Maybe that would be a fun thing to do at the end of the year. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, let's think about that.
So
I
you,
agree.
especially you guys that are regular commenters, and even you guys if you're not, get us on all of our social medias and let us know if that's something you guys will watch and want. We'll bring some previous guests on to help debate, and maybe we'll do it live. That way, we'll see some of your guys' input.
That would be great. Let's consider that for sure.
All right, let us know.
All right. I have nothing else.
Yeah.
I don't know. Good night, I guess. Goodbye.
Good
I
night.
love you. Have a good nap. Whatever you're
Yeah.
doing. Whatever you're
some
doing
lunch.
next. Whatever
Take
you're
care of
doing
yourself.
next. Yeah.
Get some exercise.
Brush
some
your
sunshine.
teeth. Holy shit.
Right. I mean, wipe your ass. Come on.
Whoa, hang
Have
on.
some self-respect.
Goodbye, everyone.
All right. Have a good one, guys.